What's that?
I don't think you know what you're doing, bro.
Bro, I was trying to put a title for the live stream, and it didn't work. I couldn't put a title.
You're live, bro. You're live.
You hear that? Abu Sufyan misguided. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 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 kidding. No, he was.
All right, let's go. You got Abu Hafsah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Allah. Give a message, man.
Message? I'm not very good with messages, but remember, you always have to focus on the fundamentals of Islam. It's easy to get away, to get carried away in, these things that we all argue about all the time. But but we have to ultimately come back and understand our Aqidah and why we've been sent here first. Understand the fundamentals and then worry about everything else. That's my message to everyone. Is that TikTok Live, yeah? Yeah, big up yourself, TikTok Live.
You got Sufyan. What's the podcast called? Glad Tidings? Glad Tidings Podcast.
Glad Tidings Podcast.
What's now you show your face.
Glad Tidings Podcast, that's it. Yeah.
All they got to do is go to that app. Don't see your face now. He's been trying to hide his face all this time. He just showed his face.
We're showing faces for the first time for people. Breaking ground.
Show Yusuf, man. I don't feel like he's in front of the camera.
Yusuf.
People don't know he's actually the main guy.
Main guy Yusuf, give us a message, man.
What the hell? I was a bit sus, bro. Why for that? No.
No, he's putting the accent, bro.
Crazy. What's this Indian guy looking at? No. Dallas, Texas, brother. Shout out. You gotta go to the real America. None of this New York or California stuff. Out of all the places you've gone for da'wah, what's been your favorite? Out of all the places I've gone for da'wah, which has been my favorite?
He's gonna say something.
Manchester, of course.
What? Manchester?
I like Manchester a lot, actually. I thought Manchester was very... In terms of what, though? In terms of... How was the da'wah?
More than London.
Dude, Manchester was exciting da'wah. But probably the most receptive da'wah would be... Man, that's a tough question. Leicester, probably. Leicester was pretty good. There we go. Now, I ain't even go for da'wah with you yet.
Sensing a bit of favoritism.
Dude, if we go for da'wah with you, you're going to scare people into taking shahada, bro. You're going to be like,
I'm seeing a bit of favoritism.
hey, take your shahada, bro. You're gonna say it with me. Arabic or English. No, I'm kidding.
You're the worst person to chat about that.
Come on. What's your favorite amendment?
All right. Are we doing some nasheeds or what? Some shi'r?
What's التشيع استغفر الله. I'm not doing that.
شعر فشاف شكرت للوكيع سوء الحفظ
No.
شكرت إلى ترك
How
المعاصي
about if you're not on the camera and you turn your face? No, I'm not doing that.
Give me one.
I stopped. Can't do that. Special request.
Do it, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a poem by Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal.
أحمد بن حنبل الله أكبر.
يقول الإمام أحمد رحمه الله: هذا وإذ سألتموه عن الحديث ورواياته الشريف وتمييز الأمين من الخبيث، فاستمع لما قال: دين النبي محمد أخبار، نعم المطية للفتى الآثار، لا ترغبن عن الحديث وأهله، فالرأي ليل والحديث نهار، ولربما جهل الفتى أثر الهدى، والشمس بازغة لها الأنوار. سلامات.
الله أكبر. الله إمام أحمد إمام السنة ما شاء الله. All right. Your turn. You up?
Tell him off for being shy.
Come on, man.
Tell him off for being shy.
What?
Tell him off for being shy.
No, he did good, mashallah. Barakallah feek. May Allah put in your mizan hasanat. Imam Ahmad. We're back. See, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, subhanallah, and it's not like poetry where, good, yeah. It's not like poetry, which is like love poems or useless poems. They're poems that teach you about the riwayat and why it's important to have asanid and how it differentiates between the right and the wrong and the clean and the impure. You know, like these poetry have benefit. Imam al-Shafi'i, you know, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, you know, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, many of these ulama, they wrote poems with benefit. Today you see poems that have no benefit. Oh, her eyes are like this, like that. Bro, you're gay. You don't even like women. What are you talking about, right? Like this useless stuff. Real stuff is that which has benefit. Imam al-Shafi'i, alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah, he even said, you know, al-ilm is the Quran, al-ulum, and that which is hadathna wa qala wa qila. Other than that, it's just waswas or shaitan. You know, and this is what happens. People get into this mantiq and balagha and things. Balagha has an eloquence in the Quran that's good. But past that, with kalam and things that doesn't benefit your iman, that doesn't get you closer to Quran hadith, there's no point in it. The earlier ai they wrote manduma, which would be a poem, which is a matan and fiqh or aqidah, so it benefited you. And even if it wasn't like that, all their poetry had something that benefit your iman, your ilm, your knowledge. Like Imam al-Shafi'i, which shakartu lal-waki' su al-hifdi, farshadni latarka al-ma'asi. This is a beautiful poem, and it has a beautiful story behind it. Imam al-Shafi'i, he used to memorize and read so well that he could read 2 pages at a time. So if he wanted to, he would have to put his hand on one to focus, because he was so intelligent, that not because of himself, because Allah blessed him. He used to memorize everything. But at a time he realized that he wasn't getting the same ability. So he went to his teacher, Waki' ibn Jarrah. He was a great scholar of hadith and fiqh as well. And he said, look, I'm having this problem. He said, he didn't tell him, have you been sleeping enough? Did you drink enough water? No. He told him, have you been sinning? Now, subhanAllah, Imam al-Shafi'i, he says, no. Like, imagine if somebody asked me or you, like, have you sinned? I'd be like, yo, you want a list? You know, like, right? He said, no. He said, think. He said, oh, you know, the only thing is I saw the ankle of a woman on accident. Today when we walk down the street, how many things do we see? May Allah protect us all, right? And then we wonder why we're not like Ahmad ibn Hanbal in our time. So Shafi'i said, I saw the ankle of a woman on accident. On accident, it's not a sin, but that had such an effect. Waki' ibn Jarrah said, this is why. So then he wrote this poem. And when he made tawbah and he concentrated on his ibadah more, Allah gave it back to him. But he said, Shakartu ila al-waki' su al-hifdi. I went to my teacher Waki' and I complained about the weakness of memory. Farshadni ila tarka al-ma'asi. So what did he tell me? He guided me towards leaving sins. فأخبرني إن علم النور. And he told me, verily knowledge is a light. وَنُورُ اللَّهِ لَا يُعْطِي الْعَاسِي. And the light of Allah, knowledge, is not given to the sinful. Now look at it, it's a poem, but it benefits you, right? That's why even when we're sitting in such gatherings, it's a gathering of benefit. Why? Because we're people of knowledge, طلاب ilm, du'at, people who are involved in the Islamic activities. So that environment benefits us, and that's why it's good. But if you sit in an environment and all you do is talk about soccer all day, or what you guys call football or cricket, people get all carried away. Oh, he hit a sixer, like, oh, big deal, LBW. I don't know that. Do you know about who Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali is? You know what he wrote? You know who the scholars are? You know what are the beneficial works in tafsir? That's something you can walk away with benefit from. Eh? You sit with somebody, Assalamu alaikum, Hayyakum Allah, Kya halak, Akramak Allah, Barakallah feekum. Right? Even if you sit around and you just talk about things that are beneficial, da'wah, or studying or things like this, those things will be a benefit for you in the akhirah. Otherwise, we will be held accountable for our time. So, inshallah, we hope that Allah keeps us the good company.
The introduction to the poem, I made it. يقول الإمام أحمد رحمه الله هذا وإذ سألتموه عن الحديث ورواياته الشريف وتمييز الأمين من الخبيث
الله أكبر
دين النبي محمد
بارك الله فيك. Allah bless it for you.
What do you say about nasheeds? What do you like about nasheeds?
Look, nasheeds, if they don't have music, I can't say they're haram, right? But I still think it's a waste of time. Unless the meaning of the nasheed has some benefit, right? But the problem in nasheeds, one, you have many that have shirk in it, right? Burda. I mean, even nowadays, like, these guys, Sufiya or what's that? I don't know. Hamza was not Zayn something. I don't know. I know their names, right? But they come out with some of the nasheeds that have no benefit in it. Sometimes they have shirk in it. Sometimes they have bid'ah in it. Sometimes they have the wrong aqaid in it. You know, there is a one qamarun, right? But then it says, Nabi la dhillahu, yani there is no, he has no shadow and stuff. This is all stuff that's not established, right? Bal huwa noora, like he's made out of noor. Rasulullah is not made out of, they go ghulu. Yeah? Then there are khariji nasheeds that go into like things that, you know, are also bad. So if the nasheed doesn't have music and it doesn't have a bad meaning, okay, it's okay. Maybe for kids and stuff.
What about the ones that imitate instruments?
Yeah, see, go ahead.
It's not a form of ibadah as well.
So nasheed's not by itself form of ibadah, right?
But
some people make it that way, right? Some people, instead of, like I was in Pakistan one time, and it was a time, you know, the people were not going to the masjid because there was a concert hall next to it where they were singing nasheeds. They didn't make salah in jama'ah, they left the salah for the nasheed. And this is wrong, right? Distracts you. If the nasheed has a good meaning, it helps your iman, it doesn't have anything haram, or maybe it teaches you even, okay, that's fine, right? But my thing is, like, if I'm driving and I have a drive to work or whatever, instead of me sitting and listening to nasheed, which benefits me nothing, why not listen to the Quran? Why not listen to tafsir? Listen to lectures? Maybe even like sometimes you listen to debates, you learn how to give da'wah from them. That's better than these things, you know? So why we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes our ummah benefit from our time. Ibn al-Qayyim, he has a beautiful statement where he said, if you're going to say something, think, will it benefit me in the akhirah, yes or no? And if the answer is no, it will not benefit me, don't say it. If the answer is yes, what should you do? See, I thought the same thing, say it. Ibn al-Qayyim says, no, think again. Is there something more beneficial? Because you have a very short life and you have a high goal in Jannah to make. Like, that's deep, right? So then when you realize the value of the time that you have, then you don't waste it, right? You start to use it as best you can, always in a way that will maximize your benefit, you know? I'm good, man. Forget the cake, just good company and good conversation, man. No, I just came here to hang out with you guys. Hit this, man. Go ahead.
I have some already, man.
Take more, man.
Guys, inshallah, if you don't got any questions, just let us know after shift.
We got our TikTok expert on the scene.
Why do you guys pray?
Yeah,
Why do we pray in front of the Kaaba? Because that is what Allah ordained on us. We don't pray to the Kaaba, we pray facing the Kaaba. There's a difference, right? People pray to idols, that's haram. The Kaaba is only a location, a central direction. For example, if I'm standing here, I find the Qibla, I find which way the Kaaba. I may be standing in front of that building, I'm not praying to that building. It's a direction to unite the Muslim Ummah, because that's what Allah ordained it. When Allah ordained for us to pray facing Masjid al-Aqsa, may Allah free Palestine, go ahead and ban us, no one cares, right? Then that's what we faced. When Allah united the Muslim Ummah to face the Kaaba, there's a direction of prayer to unite us in our prayer. The Kaaba is just a building. Allah ordained it and we follow the order of Allah.
Please ask his opinion about IVF.
In vitro fertilization. So, you know when they take, you know it, right?
I do, but regarding IVF, there is a lot of details you have to discuss. It's not a simple thing. One is, if you're going to use it to use the sperm of a husband for the wife. That's one thing. The other thing, sometimes they use random people's sperm, which would not be permissible in Islam, right? Because nasab has to be protected, right? Secondly, it's the method, whether the awrah of the woman is going to be exposed to non-mahram and things like that. If it's within the boundaries of a husband and wife, just helping them reproduce from their natural way, but helping it because maybe the woman has an issue or so on, nothing wrong with that. But if it's using random people's sperm from a sperm bank, then that would not be halal. In Islam, we protect the nasab. Salam alaykum. Hayyakum Allah habibi. Hayyakum Allah. MashaAllah. Put the brother on live, man. Say salam to the live, man. Give us a message, man. Give us a message for the chat.
Just take benefits from the Shaykh, inshallah. I recommend everyone to take benefits from the Shaykh
And may Allah bless him and honor him and give him izzah, inshallah. And of course, make us move from ilm. And Allah Azza wa Jalla to grant us his mercy and rahmah, inshallah.
Ameen. Barakallah feek. Jazakallah khair. Beautiful nasiha, habibi. All right, what else?
Someone said the mic ain't on.
The mic is on, I think. Can you hear me? Chat, can you hear us? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Testing.
Yeah.
We good. That might have been the wrong mic.
They say mic went straight.
All right, cool. All right, questions then, hit us.
Guys, do we got any other questions coming through?
It's better when you bring it closer.
All right, I'll bring it close. It's the beauty of the man is in the beard. Alhamdulillah, akramna bil-rajal bil-lahya. Allahu Akbar.
What do you think about guys that shave their beards?
Say again, bro.
There's a question that you talk about a lot on Insta. What do you think about guys that shave their beards?
You're asking me or asking him?
Guys that shave their beard. What do you think about guys that shave their
If you got a guy,
Like, is it an imitation of the women?
if your dad shaves his beard, you got two moms. Look,
I need to make a video of that. Put that up there.
100%.
the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a natural way for a man. And the man naturally, and again, if somebody's beard doesn't grow, that's not it. But if somebody has a beard and they shave it, they're mutilating the natural way that Allah made them. They're trying to imitate women. Who started shaving? It was the gays. It was not something that was natural. No, I'm serious. Look at ulama of Islam have said this. That, also I was reading a tafsir and I was talking about Qawm al-Lut, and it said they were the first one to sag their pants. They would lower their pants to show off the top of their merchandise, and this is why no, I'm serious. This is why our youth, when they do these kinds of things, they should know who they're imitating. When they show that aura, even like I when I was in the gang world, way back, our elder gang members, the ones that were the older generation, if they ever saw the younger ones sagging the pants where you could see the underwear or the butt, they would tell you, raise it up. They said, because that was the fags in prison. Definitely getting banned now. Right? Because the gay guys in prison would wear their pants low to show off, So this is not the way of men. To shave the beard is not the way of men. To sag the pants and show the aura is not the way of men. The men, they cover the aura. Because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained upon it. The men trims the mustache, they grow the beard. This is the natural. If you see a lion, from far away, how would you know a male lion from a female lion? The mane. You're not gonna go and check, right? Because you can get eaten, right? Right? Shrek, come on, you don't mess with lions, what? No, but you tell the lion from the mane. There you go. Why for that? I'm just kidding.
If a man shaves his beard, he should wear a niqab, bro.
Man shaved his beard and happy pride to him.
All right. Any more questions?
What's the maximum number of cowboy hats a Muslim can own?
There is no max, bro. As many as you need, bro. It's out of necessity. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Huh? Anan. All right. Alaikum salam. Salam alaikum. Warner, where are you at?
My brother,
Abdul Wahab. Man, everybody's asking if the Warner is here. Where are you at, man?
we replaced him with another giant. We got a different giant for now.
Nobody can ever replace the Warner, man. We got a special place in our heart, bro.
I love him, man. I've got too much love.
Meat/chicken from the people of the book.
Look, the meat of Ahlul Kitab is halal. But what is the meat, ta'am Ahlul Kitab? In the Quran, ta'am Ahlul Kitab. What is it? As Shaykh ibn Baz, rahmatullah, and others have explained, this is the meat that is slaughtered in accordance to the way of the Ahlul Kitab, with the name of Allah being said on them. The meat that you get outside today, that's not Ahlul Kitab. This is Mayta. It's shot in the head, it's electrocuted to death, stuns to the head, blows to the head. This is not Ahlul Kitab. Don't fool yourself. We live here. When you go and ask a scholar overseas and you ask him this question, a lot of times people don't know what's going on, right? So they say, can we eat the meat of Ahlul Kitab? Of course we can. But is the meat here in the stores Ahlul Kitab? No. Because that meat here gets shot. In America, I've got a video where we quote from Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan as well, and we show videos of in America how the meat is killed. They have a special nail gun made for it. And they put it to the poor animal's head. They shoot it in the head with a nail. And for hours that nail goes through their head and they suffer. That is not Ahlul Kitab. That is not dhabha. That is not halal. It's mayta. It's haram. If you show that process to any scholar of Islam, they'll tell you it's haram. So don't bring me fatwa from somebody that doesn't understand how the process goes. Because you're asking in a vacuum. You go to somebody in Saudi and you ask them, is meat of Ahlul Kitab halal? Of course it is. They're going to say yes. But if you tell them, this is what we're referencing, an animal shot in the head with a nail, nobody will say it's halal. Shaykh Ibn Uthman, read the fatwa. Read the actual fatwa. In our video, if you go to One Message Foundation or Majrabat or put Uthman ibn Farooq, halal meat, we show the fatwa from Shaykh Ibn Uthman. We go through it. Don't misquote a fatwa, right? Saying generally that the meat of Ahlul Kitab is halal, no doubt to it. But Shaykh Ibn Uthaymin even says that if it has a darb, if it's hit and died from that, that's mayta. So don't take something out of context.
Some said halal and kosher.
Kosher, halal is Islamic method. Kosher is a Jewish method. Kosher, for example, has rules that halal doesn't have. In kosher, you can't eat from the back of the animal and all that kind of stuff. That's nonsense to us. But if kosher is done correctly, means dhabha is done, the name of Allah, even if it's in another language, is said, then we could say Bismillah and eat it. Right? That is the meat of Ahlul Kitab. But not the stuff you get. But my question is, why would you go support some Zionist store and buy kosher instead of buying halal? Go buy halal.
What if an animal has been stunned, but before it dies, then it's been slaughtered?
If it's done, but it is dhabha is made before death, it's halal. Some ulama, they don't prefer it because of the fear that what if it does die before you make dhabha. But as long as the dhabha is done while the animal is alive, that's permissible.
But then it's hard to know. It's like how do you
Such as HFA.
And they do it at mass.
So, like, how you-
So many of them. Some of them are bound to die.
Like HFA. That's what it is.
I don't know about the different methods here. I'm just giving a general answer.
Now people know. Everyone knows HFA.
I don't know.
What else? Questions? Faddal Habibi.
Let's say, for example, before you read the poem of Imam الشافعي رحمه الله شقوت لا وقي سوى حفظي فأرشدني لا تلقى معاصي أخبرني بأن العلم نور الله لا يهدي العاصي. What's your best advice for a person who keeps committing sins? How did that individual stop the معصية يعني?
Excellent. That's a beautiful question. How to give up sins? The best advice that I can give and what I have seen work, because I can give general advice, have taqwa of Allah, but what are the practical steps? Like Salahuddin said earlier, he said, okay, how do we get it going? First thing, change your company. Al-mar'u ala dini khalilih. The person is upon the religion of his friends. So right now we're sitting here, we're talking, even though we're having fun, we're drinking tea, but we're talking about beneficial things. We're increasing our iman, we're increasing our knowledge. Now if we were sitting across the street and they were playing music and they were smoking the hookah and they were talking about women or dancing, then that would lead an environment towards haram. And I'll tell you this as well. Those sinful environments also open a person up to jinn. I was reading a book by a Suyuti. It's called Laqat al-Marjan fi Ahkam al-Jan. It's beautiful. It's about jinn. And he said one of the means of why people get affected for jinn is persistence on sin. Yeah. So if you want to protect yourself, good company. If your friends are not inducive towards good company, mashallah, here at Makki Masjid, they have a youth program. Go hang out with them. Mubashirun, they have a great program. Other brothers, we got bunkers coming up. Hang out with good environment, good Muslims, right? When you start hanging out with good environment, your sin, like for example, if you go to the masjid, right? And you're sitting in the masjid, are you going to dance there? Are you going to be busting a move out there? Abadan, right? Huh? If you're Sufi, you got other problems, right? Then you need to leave that masjid, right? But when you're in the masjid, if you, for example, you're in the haram in Mecca and there's a halaqah going on, are you going to be drinking alcohol? No way, right? But if you're sitting in a club, right, and you're trying to make salah in a club or read Quran, how hard is that? So environment affects, just like a ice cube, if you put it in the oven, what's going to happen? It melts. The heat in the environment melts it. But if you take a burning hot coal, and you put it in the freezer, it extinguishes it. So it's the environment, right? So if when you're in good environment, you'll be able to give up those sins. Put yourself around brothers. If you have secret sins, then try not to be alone. try to be with good people, so on, right? Those are things that are practical steps. Of course, taqwa of Allah, increasing in your knowledge, increasing your istighfar, making dua, asking Allah to take you away from that sin, taking efforts to leave an environment. Meaning, for example, if you're caught up, if you're on the road here, right? As you guys say, road, right? Then exit off that road, move to another city, right? If the ends you're in aren't a good environment, move, right? If you can't change your environment yourself by making it different, then move, right? But this is very important to put yourself in a good environment. We got more, we good? Faddal.
Wallahi, beautiful nasiha, Shaykhuna. I want to know also, if you could give 5 advices on how to give da'wah correctly, what systematic order would it be? And let's say if you're giving da'wah to Nasara or Yahudi or an atheist, what would be your best arguments on them? Simple, easy arguments, even a John or Mas can understand it.
So the first advice, if you want to give da'wah, learn your deen. You need to know what you're giving da'wah towards. Learn your aqidah sahiha, the authentic, correct aqidah in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah and the way of the Salaf al-Ummah. So you should know your aqidah. Learn your boundaries, right? When you give da'wah, can I go and bring a tranny on my show because it's good for da'wah? No, like you cannot. These are lines you shouldn't cross, right? Can I go and use pictures of attractive women in my thumbnail? No. We blur the woman, we keep it as halal. So meaning, know your boundaries, your rights and left, your halals and harams, right? Then, if you talk about giving da'wah, I would say learn about the khasa'is of Islam. What are the key characteristics of Islam that will attract somebody, right? If you want to talk about how to make rad of other religions, watch the videos. We've been through it. We've been through Jews, we've been through Christians, atheists, Buddhists, Hindus, and we've taken them apart, all of them. Take a paper, take a pen, watch the video, take notes. We put all the verses on the screen. You don't need to go Bible study and that. Put it down, right? Simple. Look, ask a Christian, can God die? What will they say? Look, God doesn't die, right? God's ever living, right? According to them, to Christians, according to them, ask them, did Jesus die? Yes. Okay, then Jesus can't be God. In 2 questions, finished. If you're saying God can't die, he's ever living, and then you say Jesus died, then okay, then by your definition, he's not God. Okay, ask a Christian, does God know everything? Everybody will say, of course God knows. He's all-knowing, all capable, all-powerful. Okay. Did Jesus know the hour? According to the Bible, he didn't. But then, khalas, so he can't be God. All-powerful. Okay. Did Jesus know the hour? According to the Bible, he didn't. But then, khalas, so he can't be God. No way. That is racist. Like you think, giving you a ticket because you're black or Chinese or something is racist. Imagine God giving you entrance into heaven because you're from a certain race and then denying others as Gentile, as Goyim, whatever, just because they're a different DNA? No way, right? Hindus, I don't know, Hindus, like, you think God's a burger? You got a steak, like how do you even go there, right? So these things are simple. Now, if you look at our Aqidah, so beautiful. Simply, we believe in one Allah, one God, one creator, not a man, not a woman. We don't give image to it. Whatever Allah said about himself, we believe in it. As he said. If he has a wajh, he has a wajh. Yet, however he said it, as he said it, we don't say like any of the makhluk. No. If Allah says something about himself, how can we deny it? That's it. Simple. We believe that same God, that same creator sent messengers. Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon them. Look at how similar their messages originally were, without the distortion, right? Don't steal, don't kill, be good to your neighbor. Yes, because the same source gave those messages. How beautiful is that? But instead of worshiping that creation, why not worship the one those prophets worship? I ask Christians all the time, who do you pray to? I pray to Jesus. Who did Jesus pray to? He prayed to God. Why don't you pray to God? It doesn't make sense. Simple, inshallah.
Forgive me, Shaykh. I'm taking a lot of your mic.
Good question.
Forgive me, Shaykh. Forgive me, Shaykh.
Quick question from the chat, just because moderators are incredibly annoying. Why do people say niqab is not allowed for Hajj?
This idea about women not covering their face in Hajj is a misunderstanding, right? In Hajj, a woman does not wear a fixed cloth called niqab. And even Shaykh ibn Baz, for example, said she could. Cloth was rare. Understand? Like today we have, I mean, I don't want to even say how many thobes I have. Like we got plenty, right? But in that time, people didn't have a lot of cloth. So for a woman to have a separate cloth to cover the face showed that she had wealth. So in the ihram, just like men have a very simple clothing. You can't wear, Gucci thobes and State Park fancy jackets or any of that. You just wear idar and a rida, the top cloth and bottom. So like that, a woman would wear she doesn't have like the izar and rida, but she would wear simple clothes. So she couldn't wear gloves and niqabs and things. But that does not mean, pay attention, that does not mean she doesn't cover her face. And we know that from the hadith of Aisha radiyallahu anha, that ulama looking at the sanad have authenticated that when the riders, because at that time they used to make tawaf on horses and camels. So when they would come close, meaning at that time you would make tawaf just with your family. Non-mahrams would be away. He said when the non-mahram would come close, we would take our khimar and cover our faces. So that means if you say it's wajib not to wear niqab in not a fixed cloth, that means to cover the face was more of a fard than that because they did it. And Rasulullah ﷺ didn't tell them they're doing something wrong. So that means in ihram, in hajj, in umrah, you should cover the face, but you can do it with the khimar. You take the khimar, you wrap it, you can pin it, that's fine. You don't wear a separate piece of cloth to show wealth because again today, even though niqabs are not really denoting of health, but this is where the original hukam came from. Just like a man doesn't wear a hat, right? But doesn't mean hats are anything wrong, but that's just the rules because you don't want to be showing off in Hajj. You don't want to be blinging your hats and your, whatever you think gives you status. In Hajj, we show everybody equal. So like that, a woman takes the khimar, she covers the face. And this is what Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and other A'imma and ulama have said from earlier. Shaykh ibn Uthman in Sharh al-Mumti and so on has given this answer very clearly. I will say one more thing. Especially for a young woman who has beauty, and again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so everybody's beautiful to somebody. Even the ulama that didn't take niqab to be wajib said in a place of fitna it is wajib. Ulama that took wajib across the board took it. Now when you are in ihram today in Hajj for example, you will be closer to men than regular. See, in the old days, they used to be away from people. But now because the crowds, men will be right up on you. So here, if you're right on men and they can see you and it can be a fitna, then across the board, ulama have said it's wajib for you to cover your face.
Someone needs to clip that.
Ahsan Allah ilayk, Shaykh. Before we spoke about, you mentioned about the fitna that's taking place obviously on this road, yani. And of course, we all are aware what's happening place in Gaza. But what's the best advice you would give to the Muslimin, yani, who want a safe environment, they can worship Allah with sincerity, but yani, some of them still persist in sin, yani. People haven't still woken up. What's happening in Gaza is for a purpose and a reason. It's not just for politics. We know it's for obviously religious purposes. What advice would you give to the Muslimin who are yani, not taking their religion serious and taking the war in Gaza serious, Shaykhuna?
I think it's very, very important, and I've said this before, that every Muslim evaluates their daily actions in accordance to how they feel about Gaza. See, it's very easy to sit around and complain. It's very easy to sit around watching the TV or watching TikTok lives and just say, these people aren't doing enough, or blame some king or president or countries, whatever problems that there may be there, but you complaining is not going to do anything, right? Or causing more bloodshed within the ummah is not going to go do anything. But you changing your sinful behavior will do something. The nusra of Allah comes with the obedience of Allah, and it is restrained with the disobedience of Allah. If we look at Uhud, the battle of Uhud, one order that was broken, which was not to come down until Rasulullah said so, even if the battle was over. Some of the Sahaba broke one order of the Prophet, a victory turned into a defeat, right? And of course Allah told the Prophet to go after them again and so on. It was still strength for this Muslims, but it taught us a lesson. How many orders of the Prophet do we break every day? How many orders of Allah from the Quran do we break every day? People that are out playing music and dancing and doing stupid things like this and tabarruj for the woman and drinking alcohol. Like, how can you be getting drunk? That in this time, Smoking, wasting your money on that instead of sending that money to Palestine or to our brothers that are like, for example, the Muslims in need and others who are helping the people. How can we be that heedless and then still complain? We talk about blaming our leaders. We need to start with ourselves. We need to be accountable. People are out there still worshiping graves and doing dancings around graves and, doing backflips and dhikr, and they think that why is the Nusra not coming? We have to fix ourselves. We have to go back to the Kitab. We have to go back to the Sunnah. We have to go back to the way of the Salaf al-Ummah. How was Umar ibn Khattab when he walked into Quds and they handed him the keys? Without even a fight. How was Umar ibn Khattab at that time? How was his izzah? How was his honor? How was his sticking to the deen? And look at us today. Right? When we have our imma selling out wholesale, talking about beards not being important and this, subhanallah, I was talking to an imam this is a long time ago, this is not recent. And he's an imam of a masjid that I know in San Diego. And he was making isbal, like his pants were dragging on the floor. It wasn't just a little bit dragging. So I'm Shaykh, you're an imam for us. Like this is all you do, you don't have a job. Raise the pants. If you want to get them cut, I'll take them home, I'll have my wife cut them for you, right? And he was like, people are dying and you're worried about my pants. So look, Umar ibn Khattab was on his deathbed. As the Khalifa, wars were going on. He was stabbed. And when he saw the Sahabi with the izar that started to drag, he told him, oh, son of my uncle, meaning my nephew, raise it. Why? Because he knew that the obedience of Allah brings the victory. So you dragging your pants, is that going to help the ummah? No. You shaving your beard is going to help the ummah. You drinking and partying is going to help the ummah. You not wearing hijab is going to help the ummah. No. So obey Allah and the nusra of Allah will come.
Another question by Abu Dhabi. He said, are Shi'as Muslim and can they enter Jannah?
Tayyib. Shia, we have to define what that means. If you mean, as we see today, those that make dua to other than Allah, right? Those that say, Ya Ali, Ya Hussein, who make these kinds of statements, then we can definitely not consider that to be Muslims, because anybody who makes dua to other than Allah is kafir. Why? Because they have worshipped that person. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ad-du'a wal ibadah." Ad-du'a wal mukh al ibadah is a weaker narration, but the strong narration is ad-du'a wal ibadah. So what does that mean? When you make dua to somebody, you're worshipping them. So if you saying, Ya Ali, Madad, oh Ali, in Pakistan they write, Ali Shere Khuda, Mushkil Kusha. Oh, Ali, the lion of Allah, the one who solves the hardships. It's Allah who helps him, solves the hardship, not Ali radiallahu anhu. We love Ali radiallahu anhu. But this is the thing, when you look at a Christian saying, oh Jesus, right? Why do we say they're kafir? Why? Because they're making dua to Jesus, not Allah. So if somebody, and I'm not just saying Shia, even if somebody who claims to be from the Sunnah and goes and say, Abdul Qadir Jilani, give me a child, shirk, right? That's the way it is. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Huh? A discount? I thought it was free. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. I got it, man. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it, man. We got you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. How you guys doing? Barakallah feekum. MashaAllah. Let's do a shout out for you, though, man. Come. Cha-cha. Cha-cha chai. On Winslow Road. MashaAllah. That chai was pretty good, man. I got to give him that, man. We had the Kashmiri tea. We don't call it the pink tea. How was it? How was it good, though? Did you like it?
Don't tell people I'm having it.
Yeah. Wait, let's see what he's having. Oh, after all that he was saying to me about it. Nah, enjoy it, man. Don't worry about it, man. Why for that, man? Trying to share drinks now? Not just kidding. Any good questions?
Speak on, if you don't mind, protesting and boycott.
Look, I'm not saying anything about our brothers and sisters protesting because I don't want to be causing any fights in the ummah at this time. But I will say, and I've said this from day one, I don't see it making a difference. Because from a practical perspective, we have seen protests for Tibet. We've seen protests against China. And for 10, 20, 30, 40 years it's been going on. And China doesn't care. You think Netanyahu sitting around caring whether people in London are crowding the streets? It's all about their money and their budgets, and they got filth and all these politicians and all this stuff. I will say people sharing the content online and people raising awareness using their social media platforms has had a difference, because it has let the world see what the media would stop it, what they would try to hide. What I will definitely warn against is protests where they have mixing with men and women, they have dancing and music. You know, some of the brothers that I know that were at a protest, they said they were doing the dabka when it was time for salah, and they wouldn't let the brothers make jama'ah because they didn't want to offend the non-Muslims. That is a stupidity. Like, if you think that's going to fix the ummah, bro, to be very honest, yani, and I'm going to say this without hesitation, the kuffar understand darb. That's what it is, right? But you have to be intelligent about it, you know. Right now, we're in a state where how many of our Muslims even pray? How many of the Muslim ummah even care? Like, you know, like Palestine is such an issue that wallahi, I can't watch those videos. It hurts me too much, right? We have raised our voice on our channel, even though we get shadow banned. Earlier, our stream got taken down, all that, right? But we still raise our voice because that's our brothers and sisters. Those children are our children. We feel that pain. But there are Muslims right now, tonight, that are sitting in bars that are absolutely in no way even concerned about it. We have to fix that. There are kuffar that are doing more today. You know, they're out there taking food to the Muslims, right? And there are Muslim armies that are stopping them from getting there. So that tells you our ummah needs a lot of work. You know, like, we don't want to just be jumping from problem to problem. We want to start dealing with the root cause, right? Yes, we need da'wah. Yes, we need ilm. We need to fix our aqeedah. And it's not going to be overnight. But every one of us needs to start a change in our life. If you're watching this stream right now and you're Muslim, then think, what sin can I leave for the nusrah of Allah for Palestine? What good deed can I bring in my life that I haven't been doing? How can I raise my voice better? And if you're not Muslim and you're watching this, we invite you to Islam. We want you to be a part of the ummah. We want you to be safe from the hellfire. If you haven't read a Quran, get a Quran. It doesn't matter whose channel you watch. It doesn't matter how you get there. Get there, you know, for your own sake.
Is every Muslim going to see the face of Allah?
As we know that the believers, the mu'minun in Jannah will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How often and how much will depend on your daraja, on your scale. Those in Jannat al-Firdaus al-Ala, may Allah put us all in Jannat al-Firdaus al-Ala, will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more often. And as many of the ulama based on nusus have said, the arsh of Allah is the roof or the top of Jannat al-Firdaus al-Ala. So we hope that Allah puts us from them. So we hope that all of us will see the wajh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. But we want to see it more and more, because this is the most wonderful thing about Jannah. Let's wrap it up. Huh? Khalas, we'll wrap it up. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.